Just trying to figure out where to start. This age, like every age in human history, is bemoaned by those who live in it as difficult times. These are, we long for the good old days, but the good old days only existed, again, in the past for those people whom we imagine when we say the good old days. Every age has its difficulties, every age has its virtues and its evils. This age is no different, though perhaps we've become more technologically and quantifiably more adept at performing evil. The question is asked of us what we're to do about that evil. How do we, in this time and in this place, engage that evil and not be overwhelmed by it? And these are two separate things that we have to consider. How do we engage the evil? Because as we know from that true adage, the only thing that evil needs to triumph is for good men to do nothing. So there is a requirement, a compulsion of those who would call themselves virtuous to do battle against evil. There's nothing less virtuous than one who says, I will abstain, or I will remain neutral. That's disgusting. In fact, it's so disgusting, Jesus says, I will spew that one from my mouth, right? And then there's the other question, though, that we have to ask, and that's how do we not get overcome by this? I got into I didn't realize it was an argument. I thought we were having a conversation, but got into an argument with a friend last night over this very topic, not in any way associated with the readings that we had this morning. And he seemed to just be getting overwhelmed by the evil, this sort of frantic, the evil is winning, like that. Just displays of things like that horror show at the opening ceremonies in Paris. From his perspective, the blatant duplicity and insincerity of his preferred political opponent party, and there was just this defeatist attitude. And what got him so upset was that I said, it's all going to be okay. That really pissed him off. He got real mad, like I was betraying the cause. Folks, this world's going to burn. It's going to be destroyed. And whether that happens in our lifetime or the next, and yes, we want to care about the land that we leave to our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. I don't have children myself, but I have nieces and nephews that I care an awful lot about. I care about their life, but I do not want their life to be wasted on pursuit of this world. If they have to suffer because of the evil in this world and they choose to do good, that's what I want for them. I want heaven for them. Right? So when we consider the time and the place we're in a very untenable situation as Americans, and it's in large part because of our republic. The very foundation of our nation puts us in this really weird spot that Christians haven't been in before, and that is to have some degree of responsibility for the actions of officials because they're elected. Right? I put that person in office, so I have to consider, why did I put that person in office? What did they say they were going to do when they were in office? And what did they actually do? Right? So when somebody tells you, I'm going to promote the wholesale murder of children for the sake of the fear of the mother or the perceived good of the mother. We have to run that through a moral calculus of Christians, and we have to say that is always and everywhere evil. And so if they tell you that's what they want to do when they get into office, and then you help to put them in office, you're culpable for that. That's a huge sin. That's a grave, horrible evil that you've just done. There's no way around it. And de facto, right, if that's the intention that you did that, right, if that's the intention you did that, you've cut yourself off from Jesus. So for Americans, the way that we engage evil is in part by who we choose to remove from and who we choose to put into offices where great goods and great evils can happen, right? But that is not the end-all, be-all of it, and that seems to be where everybody's head is at these days. We need to get our heads out of the federal clouds and stick them in the local dirt. There are so many evils that are just done around our town. So many places where suffering happens. So many places where we can actually have. We have a limited. We're small people. We have a limited ability to have an impact by our energy alone, our power alone. So what we have to do is we have to choose, where do I invest that energy so that it maximizes its effect. We do not do that by hemming and hawing about federal issues that we have absolutely no control over. We do our part, we do the thing that we do have control over, and then we look back to the earth, back to the ground, back to what's around us. When was the last time anyone went to a town meeting? When was the last time anyone went to talk to the commissioner of Cobb County? Do you know the commissioners? Do you know who they are? Do you know where the food banks are in town? Do you know where the shelters are in town? Do you have the number available in case you meet somebody who needs it? Have you talked to any? And I'm sorry, this is unintentional. This is just my frustration with the whole situation. I don't want it to spill out on y'all. I want it to spill kind of up to heaven. We have to engage evil where we are, and with what tools and resources we have. Every Christian is a St. George. Every Christian is a St. Michael. Every Christian is a Joan of Arc. Every Christian is called to go into evil, to lean into evil and push it out of the way. And not just sit back and complain about it. We didn't hear the parable, but that's exactly what the servants did. In the morning when they saw that there were weeds in among the wheats, they went and complained to the Lord. And the Lord said, "Don't worry, I've got this. Let them grow together." Right? This is how we don't get overwhelmed by it, by the way, shifting into the second question that we have to ask ourselves. One, how do we here and now, as particular people in a particular time, particular place with particular evils, how do we engage that evil with the virtue that we particularly have? That's the first question. We didn't answer it all, but we got the conversation started. The second question is, how do we not get overwhelmed by it? Because it's everywhere. Like these servants who wake up in the morning and we say, "Where did all these weeds come from? Didn't you sow good seed?" And the master said, "Sure I did, but the enemy's done this. Don't worry, you're not going to get blamed for what the enemy has done." That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Just because we live in a town or in a community, in a country, in a world that does evil, if we stand up and protest that evil and say, "I want no part of this and this is wrong," we will not get blamed for it. We don't have to worry about it. Okay? The second reason is that that the master of the harvest has got this. He's like, that's fine. And we're like, man, if we could just get rid of all the evil, then everything will be fine. And the master says, no, if you pull up all the evil, if you pull up all the weeds, you're going to hurt the wheat as well. You're going to have to do so much damage to the field to root out the evil that everything's going to be destroyed. Don't do that. Right? He's kind of like talking about a nuclear option. Right? You know what happens when the robots take over and their job is to protect humanity? They end up protecting humanity from itself, so they just say the easiest way to protect humanity is just kill them all. Right? That's kind of what the Lord is saying here. That's the wrong mentality to take. Endure the evil, bear the evil, deal with it, but don't be influenced by it. Right? Because in the end, I will separate it out. When everything is said and done and all the calculus is run and everything is weighed out and I understand and see everything clearly and we initiate the harvest, everything will be separated then and all good will be in one place and I will destroy all evil. And that thing that you long for so much, that thing that weighs you down so much, it will be taken care of. Do what is yours to do in this moment and leave the rest to the Lord. The future is as bright as heaven itself, because the future for a Christian leads only to heaven. No matter what dark valley or cave that they have to walk through to get there. No matter what battle they fight. For a Christian, the future is always bright, because it always leads to heaven.